All right. Welcome to this cool, epic show,
Yeah.
the Action Hero podcast.
Yeah.
Get ready for some,
Yeah.
one or two addictive action stories served up in a fun and adventurous way with masterful storytelling that's going to leave you craving for more
Totally.
tales of adventure and carnage.
More tales of adventure and carnage.
So today we're unpacking two thrilling narratives
We are.
from the sources you provided.
That's right. We've got a fantastic pair of high-octane tales to explore with you.
Yeah.
First, we'll plunge into a world where magic meets machinery.
Uh-huh.
As a group of unlikely adventurers face an awakening machine god in forgotten ruins.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
All right, and then we're going to shift gears completely
Virtually.
to the Cold War era,
Yeah.
where a grown-up Tom Sawyer uses his unique skills honed in childhood to outwit spies.
High stakes.
Consider this your express pass to understanding the key events,
Yes, absolutely.
the stakes, and the fascinating details of these action-packed scenarios,
All without feeling overwhelmed.
all without feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tackle this first story.
Okay, let's do it.
Guns and Golems.
Stuns and golems.
The title itself suggests an interesting clash.
It does. It immediately sets up that blend of fantasy and something almost industrial.
Right.
The scene is set in these forgotten ruins known as the Vault of Ages,
Okay.
a place described as filled with clockwork monsters and trap-laden corridors.
Uh-huh.
And the adventurers,
Yeah.
their mission is to stop an ancient machine god from waking up.
Wow.
What strikes you right away is how this mashup of magical elements and mechanical threats
Yeah.
creates this unique sense of danger.
Absolutely. And the adventurers themselves are quite the colorful bunch, aren't they?
They are.
We have Mia,
Yes.
a sharpshooter with a magic-infused rifle
Oh, cool.
that shoots crystal slivers infused with frost.
Wow.
Her motivation is described as equal parts spite and black coffee,
Interesting combination.
which already gives you a strong sense of her character.
It does.
I'm curious, what does that kind of detail suggest about the tone of this story?
It hints at a narrative that doesn't take itself too seriously.
Okay.
Despite the high stakes injecting a bit of dark humor into the adventure,
Yeah, I like that.
then there's Silas,
Okay.
the grizzled ex-soldier,
Yeah.
described as one of the lucky fools brave enough to take on this incredibly dangerous contract.
Right.
You can imagine he brings a certain level of grim experience to the group.
He sounds like the grounded one.
Yeah.
In contrast to Jonas,
Yeah.
a bookish scholar with more enthusiasm than sense,
Right.
which I find immediately endearing.
Definitely.
He's equipped with magically augmented legs.
Now, those are cool.
I wonder if that's a source of comical mishaps or unexpected advantages.
Possibly both.
Yeah.
It certainly suggests a character who might be more adept at quick escapes than heavy lifting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And finally, Kira,
Okay.
a stoic artificer whose clockwork creations like buzzing mechanical hornets
Cool.
and a cleverly tossed clockwork mouse
Very cool.
sound incredibly useful and hint at a meticulous and inventive mind.
Right.
What's fascinating here is how each character's unique skills and personality
Right.
immediately come into play when they face their first challenge.
Yeah.
A collapsing floor that drops them into a chasm,
Oh,
followed by an attack by mechanical spiders with venomous red eyes.
that's intense.
Notice how this sudden peril immediately ups the ante.
It does.
Yeah.
It throws them right into chaos.
Right into the action.
Right away.
Right away.
We see Mia's frost bullets shattering a spider,
Cool visual.
which is a cool image. Crystal shards freezing metal.
I like that.
And then Kira's hummingbird unleashing a sonic shriek to overload the other spiders.
That's some inventive action.
That's some inventive action.
Yeah.
Mia's quip, easy as swatting skeeters after all that chaos, is just perfect
It is.
for her character as described.
Right.
Yeah.
It establishes her as cool under pressure,
Mhm.
almost to a fault.
Yeah.
But as Silas rightly points out, that's probably tempting fate.
Yeah, I think so.
The narrative quickly moves them through a series of deadly chambers,
Okay.
each presenting a new obstacle.
Right.
There's a behemoth golem, for example.
Or,
What stood out to you about how they dealt with that particular threat?
Well, it wasn't brute force,
Yeah.
which you might expect in a clash against a giant golem.
Right.
Instead, it was Jonas the scholar who saved the day
Oh.
by deciphering runes on its chest,
Okay.
a hidden kill switch.
Interesting.
It highlights how knowledge and understanding can be just as crucial
Absolutely.
as physical strength or firepower in these kinds of adventures.
Right.
What does this tell us about the narrative's approach to problem solving?
It suggests a preference for cleverness and strategy over simple combat,
Okay.
which can make for a more engaging story.
I agree.
Then they face bladed pendulums,
Ooh, dangerous.
which Kira handles with her clockwork mouse acting as a distraction.
Oh, wow.
A clever and resourceful solution that speaks to her skills as an artificer.
Yeah.
And Mia's steady aim takes care of the living cogs they encounter.
Wow.
It's a constant barrage of different threats, requiring different approaches, keeping the reader on their toes.
It really keeps the pace going.
It does.
And it all leads to the heart of the vault,
Okay.
where they find the monstrous machine god.
Right.
It's not dead as they might have hoped,
Right.
but dormant and starting to wake.
Oh.
That must have been a truly chilling moment.
It must have been.
The realization that their mission is far from over.
Absolutely. And Jonas realizes the gravity of the situation.
Right.
They can't simply destroy this thing with conventional means.
Right.
They need to find a specific shutdown method left by its creators, relying on his crumbling tome and knowledge of archaic code.
So it's like a puzzle on top of the action.
It raises the stakes even higher,
Right.
introducing a puzzle element to the action.
Definitely, because as Jonas is frantically trying to figure this out,
Yeah.
the machine god fully awakens.
Oh.
We get a frantic scene. Jonas working on a glyph-covered conduit.
Okay.
Kira's clockwork creations acting as these incredible, if ultimately sacrificial distractions.
Right.
And Silas using an electrified sword to buy them precious time.
Wow.
It's a desperate race against the clock. A classic action trope used effectively here.
Absolutely. And then Mia's desperate gamble.
Yeah.
That single shot to overload the conduit.
Right.
It's a quintessential action movie moment.
It is.
The description of the explosion of blue sparks and the machine god spasming really brings that climax to life.
Yeah.
Did you find the resolution satisfying?
I did. In the aftermath,
Yeah.
the machine god collapses, but not without Silas getting injured.
Oh, no.
It shows that even in victory,
Are you?
there are consequences.
There are.
Mia saving him underscores the developing teamwork
Yeah.
we saw hinted at earlier.
Right.
And her offer of drinks on me
Yeah.
feels like a natural earned moment of camaraderie.
It is. And Jonas already thinking about the hidden inscriptions and forgotten lore
Of course he is.
shows his unwavering enthusiasm.
Right.
Suggesting his adventure isn't really over.
That's true.
Kira's clockwork creations acting as scouts as they leave the ruins is a nice touch,
Yeah.
hinting at their continued usefulness.
Yeah.
The narrator's observation that they look less like misfits and more like a team really sums up their journey through the vault.
Right.
It's a satisfying little character arc within the action.
It is a great little arc.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've gone from this fantastical blend of magic and machines
Right.
to a completely different kind of action.
Totally different.
Cold War espionage with a very familiar face.
Yeah.
Let's get into River Rat Recon.
River Rat Recon.
What's the immediate contrast that strikes you between these two stories?
The shift in setting and tone is dramatic.
Yeah.
This story takes us to the very real Mississippi River
Okay.
and the familiar town from Tom Sawyer's childhood, now serving as a backdrop for Cold War espionage. It's a fascinating juxtaposition of Americana and international intrigue.
Absolutely. And the protagonist, of course, is Tom Sawyer, all grown up and working for the government.
Oh, wow.
He's traded his paintbrush-stained overalls for a suit,
I can't picture that.
which sounds almost comical,
It does?
and apparently possesses half a dozen false identities.
Skilled.
But it's not the suit or the aliases that are his real strength, is it?
No, it's not.
It's his deep knowledge of the town and, crucially, his ability to think like a troublemaker.
That's the core of what makes this story so interesting.
Right.
His childhood antics and understanding of human nature
Right.
become his greatest assets in the world of espionage.
Yeah.
We're introduced to the target,
Oh,
Mr. Smith, a suspected KGB handler.
All right.
What subtle details does the story highlight about Tom's observation of him?
It's all very understated but effective.
Okay.
A nervous twitch, a gaze that's constantly checking for anyone following him.
Right.
It shows Tom's keen eye for detail, honed from years of observing the people and happenings in his small town.
Right.
It's that local knowledge applied to a new context.
Exactly. And the investigation that follows takes us through familiar locations, from catfish holes to the rotting piers,
Okay.
all now viewed through the lens of surveillance.
Right.
Tom's methods are key here.
Yeah.
He's not relying on high-tech gadgets or brute force, is he?
No, it's all about cunning. and those skills he picked up as a kid.
Oh, interesting.
The misplaced fishing lure revealing a concealed pistol is classic Tom Sawyer.
Classic Tom Sawyer.
And the flung rock allowing him to swipe the microfilm with quick-fingered sleight of hand.
Yeah.
It's like his childhood pranks have been upgraded for espionage.
That's a cool concept.
The story really emphasizes that his youthful tricks are now sophisticated spy tactics.
I like that.
What do you think is the effect of using such grounded, almost whimsical methods in a serious spy setting?
It creates a sense of irony and surprise,
Right.
highlighting the unexpected value of seemingly trivial skills.
Yeah, I can see that.
The rendezvous point is the haunted graveyard,
Okay.
which feels very fitting for Tom's history
Yeah,
and adds a touch of the familiar and the slightly spooky.
right.
And instead of his childhood gang, his backup is now a squad of poker-faced agents.
Yeah.
The juxtaposition is quite effective,
Yeah.
showing how his world has changed.
But then we get a real twist.
Okay.
The contact turns out to be Becky Thatcher.
What?
That's a huge surprise.
It is.
And immediately injects a personal element into the mission.
Right?
Why do you think the author chose to bring back such a significant character from Tom's past?
It dramatically raises the emotional stakes.
Okay.
It's no longer just about catching a spy.
Right.
It's about someone Tom cares about,
Right.
adding a layer of complexity to his mission.
Yeah.
And when Becky evades capture and flees towards the river bluffs, Tom makes a surprising decision.
Okay, what's that?
Instead of sticking with his backup,
Right.
he circles back to find her. That shows where his priorities lie, even after all these years and his new career.
Yeah.
Their history clearly still plays a significant role in his choices.
Yeah, it does.
And his offer of a borrowed fishing skiff,
Okay.
referencing their childhood adventures and saying he would have sailed to the ends of the earth for her,
Wow.
is a wondrously nostalgic moment amidst the tension.
Yeah.
Their escape down the Mississippi feels like a callback to their youthful escapades,
Right.
but with much higher stakes and consequences.
Definitely. And the storm that breaks provides both cover and danger.
Right.
But Tom's deep knowledge of the river, the currents and sandbars,
Yeah,
gives them a crucial advantage.
it does.
It's another example of his seemingly ordinary skills,
Right.
proving invaluable in this high-pressure situation.
Absolutely.
And Becky at the helm,
Yeah,
no longer a damsel in distress,
right.
is a great character moment,
It is.
showing her agency.
She's clearly capable and resilient.
Right.
They managed to lose their pursuers near the old ferry crossing, another familiar landmark that ties back to their shared past.
Right.
The final moments with them, rain-soaked, and Becky asking if Tom will turn her in,
Oh, wow.
are filled with suspense.
Yeah.
What did you make of Tom's ambiguous reply?
Tom's ambiguous reply, let's just say your debt's paid, for old time's sake,
Really?
is perfect.
Yeah.
He lets her go feeling that pang of familiar recklessness.
Oh, wow.
It suggests that maybe deep down the adventurous spirit of Tom Sawyer is still very much alive.
I think you're right.
And his connection with Becky transcends his current role.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a compelling ending,
It is.
leaving you to wonder about the long-term implications of his decision
Right.
and the future of their relationship.
Right.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Two gripping tales showcasing action in vastly different settings,
Yeah.
fueled by magic and ingenuity in one and
Huh.
by cleverness and familiar landscapes in the other.
Exactly. Consider how the adventurers in Guns and Golems relied on their unique skills and teamwork to overcome those seemingly impossible odds in a fantastical environment.
Yeah.
What does this tell you about the necessity of diverse talents coming together
Yeah.
when facing extraordinary challenges?
And then think about Tom Sawyer in River Rat Recon.
Yeah.
How his seemingly insignificant childhood experiences and understanding of his hometown
Right?
became invaluable assets in a high-stakes world of espionage.
Exactly.
It really makes you wonder what seemingly unimportant skills or knowledge might hold surprising power
Yeah.
in unexpected situations in your own life.
We hope these action-packed narratives have sparked your imagination and given you some food for thought.
We do.
Rate and follow the Action Hero podcast for more epic adventures.
Yes, please rate and follow.